Welcome to High Oracle's Reiki Spiritual Healing Channel. And today we are talking about the demonic entity that tries to project onto you. The demonic entity that doesn't want to leave its host. So for me, when I am expelling these demonic entities, when I am, casting them out, then we have to have the understanding of Jesus that I need to ask this demonic entity some questions so I can distinguish whether the person is able to speak to me or whether the demon has taken over and they are answering with an arrogance. They are answering me with trying to rush me through a process because they don't want to leave the host. They are a parasite, where they are trying to talk to me and let me know that they know more than I know. Okay, so this is where I start to make sure that I enter into the cleansing phase, into that cleansing realm where, we're going to cleanse the mind, body, and soul out. We're going to cast it out. Those are just some children. We're going to remove that entity that is associated with that person, and we're going to have that person pray, because many times the entity doesn't like for the host to pray. It wants to engage in toxic, foul things. It likes to, deal in filth. Okay. So when I'm dealing with this, I have to make sure that, we do not allow the arrogance or the pride to enter into these arenas, because this is what this entity likes to thrive off of. So you want to make sure that you're asking the person questions and determine how they're answering, then they will start to project on to you. They will start to project that, your faith isn't nothing. You are, a loser. You are just a woman. And, your head is round. And, I don't like how you sound. So they will start to project because, this entity knows that it has to be cast out. It knows that I can cast it out. But we first have to deal with the mindset and allow God to purify the inside of the heart and mind of the person, which is the way that the entity got into the person in the beginning. Okay? So when the person, the client is telling me that, they can feel the entity and hear the entity and feel the entity on the outside of them manifesting. And then we are able to see, once we take that stronghold off of the person and we do the holy bath. These rituals, you're going to see certain signs manifest with that person. You're going to physically see certain signs manifest with that entity on the outside of the person, because that entity dwells in filth. You will see, rats. You will see, lizards, snakes, frogs, roaches, flies. Those types of entities will enter when you are casting these types of demonic entities out of a person. And I've even had those flies manifest on an entire wall in the bathroom when I was casting them out of a property, out of a place. So, the thing is, the entity is trying to rush you. It's trying to make you, believe that, it has gone. It is, it's not there. Okay? But the proof is in the pudding. Once you give the holy baths, and you're able to see, the rats come into a person's presence, and that could mean that, the entity you have two enemies maybe that have sent you this entity and attached it to your dreams. It has been attached to your back. It has been attached to your health by two people. But it can also mean that the entity, the demonic entity, is ready to, move on into generational curses, generational attachments to your sons or your daughters, when we're seeing this as spiritual healers. So this is why it is very important that we speak to this entity, and we're able to understand that the entity is going to answer in a specific way. It's going to answer with rushing. It's going to try to put you in a hurry and make it seem like you're the problem. It doesn't like you. It's going to say mean, derogatory things to you. You're going to have to ignore it. And like I say, I just let people make it. I'm gonna let you make it, because I didn't come here to have you put me down, but I'm going to cast out your demon. Okay, I'm going to cast out your demon because you need the help. The demon is not going to be able to deter me. We're going to cast that demon out the window. Okay, and then we have to continue with cleansing. Even when people are telling me, people who have these attachments, they're telling me that they're ready, to go into a spiritual cleanse in nature, like I have been telling you. And, you come to find out they're not ready. They're not ready because they're associating something with God. They're not ready because, they think that they're going to go in with the same mindset of praying 1 time a day, 2 times a day. Okay? So when we're entering into this stage of purification, this is why I have to ask the tough questions. Okay? This is why, we have to make sure that those questions are being answered by the person, especially when a person is gifted and this person puts more stock into their knowledge than into God. This is how the entity was able to enter into your mind, into your arrogance, into your, into your pride, because the entity likes to attach itself to people with pride and arrogance. It likes to, attach itself especially to men who think that they're better than other people. I have more strength. I have more money. My car looks better. My family is better. People who are prideful and arrogant, women who are prideful. You will have, these attachment night visitants. You're able to, be impregnated by the entities. And so we have to cast that type of negative energy out of you by asking the demonic entity questions. And again, how the entity answers me. When they're trying to rush me out of the way, when they're trying to tell me I don't need the religion, I don't need religion. I just need you to get rid of the entity. Well, how are you going to get rid of it without religion? How are you going to get rid of it without praying? How are you going to get rid of it without, checking for the understanding of how Jesus cast out the demons into swine? Checking for the understanding that, God will allow certain things to happen to you, when you are a person like Job, when you have perseverance, when God has taken stock of you, when you have an understanding, you're not going to be able to be, in alignment with the entity. You're not going to be able to say these types of things unless the entity has taken over in a certain way. So when we start talking about the succubus, the incubus, then we're talking about Jezebel. We want to read about Jezebel. We want to read about, those entities that have been attached to people that cause addictions. those prophets who had addictions to women, those prophets that also lost their mind, those kings that lost their mind because of an entity. So these are the types of ways that we question these entities to check and see who is speaking, the strength of the entity. And when the behavior of these entities manifest by trying to attack me, by trying to attack anything that is holy, that will not allow the client to read the holy books, then we know that it has gained strength over time and the client doesn't have the ability to fight it. Okay, and that's when we have to come in and put, that prayer from our chest, put that bass in our voice to command this entity out for the client. We have to make this entity, the entity read. We're going to make the client read from the holy books. There are certain clients that I've had to send the holy books. They did not have holy Bibles in their houses. So we're going to, make that holy water. I'm going to send you that holy water, and we're going to drive this entity out of your body. And when we start to see these signs manifest, that the entity is manifesting, is coming out of you, it's releasing the stronghold from you, then we're going to go ahead and close these portals to your soul by making you understand that there is only one God. God gave you the knowledge. God gave you the gifts, and you have to give those gifts back to God. You have to use those gifts in a way that you are grateful to God for your gifts, for your life. You have to give those children back to God that He has given you. Everything, you have to be in gratitude to God, and we cannot allow the entity to enter through our pride and arrogance. If we are standing in solidarity that there is one God, and we are standing in gratitude for His gifts. And I hope that you have received this message. So please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. You can book your one-on-one life coaching sessions. You can book your consultations so that I can acclimate a gift to your situation. Please like, share, and subscribe to me. Donate to my channel. I'm High Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.